Hey goblins and goblets, it's Super Nellius, and today I've got something a little different than my usual videos. It's an Elden Ring build that uses a dirty old chicken wing I picked up from the floor of a 7-Eleven. This is the bloodfiend's arm build, a colossal weapon build that takes advantage of the weapon's amazing status scaling, even post-nerf. As this is a smithing stone weapon and not a somber weapon, you are able to change the affinity, and if you put a blood affinity on it, or any other elemental status affinity that you'd like, it can do some really good status build-up. One thing to note though is this weapon excels with the blood affinity. With 60 plus arcane and at level 25, the dirty chicken wing has a whopping 200 bleed buildup on it. Compared to some other weapons, which typically top out around the 114 range with blood affinity, this weapon is crazy good at applying hemorrhage, often only taking 1 or 2 hits to get that initial bleed. As with other colossal weapons, it has the best stance damage with its moveset, as it's a colossal hammer type weapon and does strike damage, another damage type that's overall pretty great, except against some dragons and some bosses, but this weapon seems to overlook that weakness because of how good it is at bleeding. Quick aside, if you enjoy this video, leave a like, comment what you want to see, and subscribe to the channel for more of my content. I plan on doing other build videos, but also have other content outside of Elden Ring for you to enjoy. Now back to the video. Moveset wise, as a colossal weapon, it has a slightly slower moveset, but of note on it, the running R2 comes out fairly quick and is even good at taking out groups of enemies. Really good at catching them off guard. The chicken wing has the overall same moveset as the Great Club, so if you've been using the Great Club, you'll probably get used to this one really easy. But its R2 has a blood splash on it, which despite the damage type not listed, does do a little fire damage, while also applying the status of the weapon. This can be used to great effect against enemies weak to fire, or that get blazing animations, like those hands and Miranda sprouts that we all love to hate. Side note, be careful around explosive barrels, the R2 will set them off. A fully charged R2 can even proc bleed on enemies in one hit because of the splash, also applying the status effect, so it can be useful against enemies very susceptible to hemorrhage, really chunking their health bars if not killing them outright. That being said, a weakness of this build tends to be NPCs or nimble small enemies, as they tend to be quick to get out of the way of heavy attacks, and because of the slow follow-ups, sometimes you have to reposition to get those hits. Large and slow enemies are too easy to deal with and almost trivial with how powerful this is. My current stats favor heavy arcane, as a blood affinity version of this weapon has C scaling in arcane, so I'm only putting enough strength to really wield the weapon. Side note, by the time of recording this, I actually have 54 strength just to get that two-handed bonus. My video won't tell you how to distribute all your stats. Do what you want, but for blood affinity, you do want to pump arcane as much as you can. But if you want to like increase faith, whatever, do you. Now you can get this weapon right from the beginning of the DLC. You'll want to head to Prospect Town, head to the 3 Crossroads, Site of Grace, then travel west along the road to the main gate cross. Now from here, you'll want to face the south and you'll notice a cave/overhang with a bunch of bats and other baddies. Head through there and you'll open up into the Cliff Road terminus. From here, just keep heading south. You'll know you're in the right location as you'll be passing a bunch of bloodfiends with their dog companions. Now, once in Prospect Town, you'll notice bloodfiends in some groups. One of these groups, there's a bloodfiend that has the arm, while the rest have forks. This is more closer to like the cathedral castle looking building in Prospect Town, and killing the one with the arm will cause it to drop the weapon. This is a once per game drop, so if you want 2 to power sands or multiple for different affinities, you'll need a friend to drop you theirs or do the DLC and New Game Plus. The other bloodfiends can drop the bloodfiend's fork, so if you're lucky, you can get one of those too.
Nice.
Now, with that all out of the way, we can now look over talismans and ashes of war. By default, the weapon comes equipped with Endure, which is a solid choice if you're looking for some defense to tank big hits and set up a fully charged R2s. It's also really good for PvP, but my overall recommendation for this build is the Cragblade Ash of War. It's a base game Ash of War, pretty straightforward to get, as it grants 15% more damage, which is always lovely, and 10% extra stance damage. Other options, if you're looking for something, can be the Lion's Claw and Savage Lion's Claw, if you grab it in the DLC, as these both provide some nice hyper armor if you're looking to trade hits, which is also pretty easy to do with this weapon. Talisman wise, anything that boosts damage will be good, but the weapon talismans, specifically the axe if you want to use lots of heavy R2s, the Claw Talisman for the bonus of jump attacks, but also the Curved Sword Talisman for guard counters, because even without a shield, this weapon is good for guard counters, having very high guard boost given it's a colossal weapon. And I think it has like 70% physical reduction when guarding, so it blocks like a medium shield already. Since this is a DLC build, you gotta get the two-handed sword talisman, which grants 15% more damage when two-handing a weapon. And I'll put up on the video where to find the two-handed sword talisman if you haven't already. Because the two-handed sword talisman grants 50% more damage when two-handing a weapon, which is all we will be doing for this build. Since this is a bleed build, Lord of Blood's Exaltation is also a solid talisman choice since you'll be proccing blood so frequently. And that's it. Use what you're comfortable with. Again, I won't tell you exactly what to use. That's the joy of this game. You can play as you want to. Lastly, armor-wise, you can use whatever you want. Obviously, there's a few that are standouts because they do proc, like the white mask, which gives you that blood proc. There's also the Raptors, Talons, Garbs, or whatever they're called. But also there's a Deathbird Right version in the DLC that gives you boosts to jump attacks. So if you want to go with more jump attacks, if you want to go with more bleed proc, do what works for you. But my rule is be stylish. And thanks for watching, and may this build guide you in the lands between and beyond. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos and like the video to praise the gross chicken wing. Thanks for watching. Bye.